The Kebos Lowlands was a huge update that added a giant chunk of content to Zeah. In the northwest corner, it finished off a portion of the map that added a new Slayer Master, the Farming Guild, and a new spot for single combat shamans, in addition to aerial fishing. In addition to the new skilling content, the new shaman spot, and the new Slayer Master, there was also two quests that were added to help fill in the lore of Zeah. This involves the Forsaken Tower, which involves the Lovakin questline, and the Descent of Arceus, which involves the Arceus House. There are three ways to access the new location, Kebos Lowlands. First, there's this red spot which indicates the Battlefront teleport. This can be accessed through the Arceus spellbook and can be cast at level 23 magic with 1 Law Rune, 1 Earth Rune, and 1 Fire Rune. The second spot is the green one, which involves the Farming Guild. You can access this through the Skilling Necklace. And the third location is up by the new Slayer Master, which involves using the new diary reward and teleporting to Konar. In order to help travel around the new areas, this Bodhi, was added to a spot just west of the Shazian town. This gives you 3 different options to travel to. If you travel to Mulch Island, it'll take you to this island in the middle, which is where aerial fishing's at. If you pick the Battlefront, it'll take you to the north here, which allows you access to the battlefield, which is filled with shamans in the middle. Some of them are fighting soldiers also, however you will most likely get hit a ton trying to travel through here because of the amount of lizardmen. You can also take this to Mulch, which is a town filled with lizardmen. If you go down one of the pathways, it'll take you to a new thieving chest and the single combat lizardman shaman room. First, we're going to take a look at aerial fishing by going to Mulch Island. Once you arrive here, you'll see a hut and then this guy who's traveling around. You can talk to him, trade with him, or get a bird. If you click get a bird, he'll give you that great pun to start off, and then you'll eventually get a bird after a little bit of dialogue. Once you get one, just collect the king worms to start off, and you then decide to just click on these spots. They do rapidly disappear, so it is a fairly active activity. As a result, you will get fish, and depending on your hunting level and fishing level, you can get higher level types of fish. After a while, you'll use up the bait that you picked up. If you have a knife on you, which is highly recommended, you can cut the fish by clicking on the knife and clicking on the fish. Going back and forth, you'll receive fish chunks that can be used to feed the fish instead of having to use the king worms. After a while, you'll get lucky enough to get a pearl. The Mach pearls can be traded into him, and you can get equipable fishing rods and also the cosmetic fish sack. In addition to this, you can also get a golden version of the trench. The trench that's golden can be used as a fun weapon currently, but is also being pulled to change it back to a 0 stat item. It attacks at 3 ticks and is mainly focused on cosmetic, however could be useful to 1 attack pierce. So next we're going to take the boat over to Mulch. So over here is fairly hostile territory. You'll be attacked by lizardmen, which can poison. As you see, I've already gotten poisoned, plus they will damage you. So if you jump down one of these lizard dwellings, you will end up going down into the cavern system below. Over there is where you get out of the cavern system, however you cannot enter through it. There's a chest with some lore and also someone you can talk to, and this is where you jump in the strange hole and it will teleport you back up. Now, if you enter through the mystical barrier, there are 2 shamans and there are several rooms of this in which you can fight these in single combat. The purple minions that they summon have a reduced explosion range from a 5x5 in the normal area to a 3x3 in this room to try and prevent them from hitting you as much. Over here is also the level 62 thieving requirement chest. You can pickpocket these and get a wide variety of items. You can get fangs, exertion talismans, the fabrics, and you can also get various bolt tips. However, you can get teleported out on a failure. When you get teleported out on a failure, it will teleport you to above in the city. Just quickly run down into one of the dwellings, and you can quickly get down here again. Just be prepared to get attacked by the lizardmen when you get teleported up there. Now, once you jump up to the strange hole, you also have a ability to recharge your prayer, which is fairly nice on return trips. Two quick things I want to mention before I enter the farming guild is to the west of Mulch. So you see there's a new mining site, and this has a bunch of mithril and addy rocks. The closest bank is the farming guild, so it's not the most efficient to farm mithril or addy. To the south of it is a new hunting spot. This is filled with crimson swifts, which are the level 1 birds that you typically start hunter off with. Next we'll be covering the farming guild. In order to enter the farming guild, you need 45 farming. There are several people that you can talk to in the entrance of the farming guild, and you also get access to a bank, which is over in this corner. The most important person of this whole area is Guildmaster Jane. You don't originally get the option to start a contract, so you have to go through some dialogue in order to get the option to quick select a contract. Once you get a contract, she'll tell you to go grow some type of plant, and once it's fully grown, you can then harvest it, and it'll tell you that your contract's complete, and you just return to her, and she'll give you a seed box. This seed box will then give you 10 random rolls at different seeds, including some of the new seeds, such as redwoods and dragon fruit trees. Over here, you have a general farming supply shop, which is like the one over by the Faldor farm. You have a garden supplier, which is like the one over in the Faldor Park. This is for your player-owned house. And you also have Amelia, which is a seed shop that will give you access to seeds like over in Draenor. Next we'll be taking a look at the eastern wing, which requires 45 farming to access. You get access to a bush patch, a flower patch, and 2 allotment patches. You also have a cactus patch to the north, and a big compost bin which can fit 30 slots in order to make compost. To the west, you also have access to several more patches with 65 farming. This has a tree patch, a herb patch, and a cave in the middle, which is where you fight the Hispori. If you die, you can collect your items from Arno for about 50k. While fighting the Hispori, you have a chance to get certain seed drops that you can plant in the Anima patch. This will give you boosts to your farming, such as increased yield and increased growth speed. To the north is a section of the guild that I currently cannot enter, so I'm just going to have to give you a brief description of it from outside of the area. So this portion is the 85 tier portion of the guild. As you can see, I can't enter it. This gives you access to a spirit tree patch, another bank, a fruit tree patch, a Slisaurus patch, which is used to make the tree that you can cut and fletch into battle staffs, and also the redwood tree patch. Next I'll be covering the new Slayer Master. So you can access this area easily by using the fairy ring. The code for here is CIR. Now if you run to the slight northwest, there is a agility shortcut. The first one requires 29 agility to access, and the second one requires 62 agility to get up. Once up on the top of the mountain, if you cannot use these, you'll have to run all the way around the mountain, as you can see such with the path. You have access to several different things. First is a furnace and a nearby bank. This is within normal clicking range of each other. Second, you have access to a weapon shop. This has different miscellaneous weapons such as spears and battle axes. Most notably in this shop, you have access to a runite spear for just about 21k, as you can see here. And then finally, you have the dungeon, which is down here, and of course, the new Slayer Master, Konar Q. Madden. So what's unique about Konar is she assigns tasks that have specific areas. So I just finished my recent task, and I'm going to be getting a new one. As you can see, she told me to kill 147 fire giants, and I have to kill them at this specific area. By killing them in this area, I get access to a special loot table, which is shown over here. So this is what the current drop table looks like for Konar. It's a special type of drop table that rolls depending on the combat level of the monster you're attacking. So at a level 100 combat monster, you have about a 1 in 100 chance to roll it. At a level 350 monster, you have about a 1 in 50 chance to roll it. However, this table has been highly controversial, and during its release, there were drops that were over 2 mil apiece. So it quickly got nerfed within 24 hours, and it then got changed to this. However, most likely due to the polling system and the current controversy that's been going about this table, it's likely to change. So I'll just leave a link below to the Konar wiki page, and that should bring you to the drop table. It's also notable that this drop table includes a recolored set of Mystic, and it also gives you access to the Dragon Hosta. It currently is broken, and you can bring it to the Barbarian training guy, Otto, who will then fix it for you. You do not need the quest Taiboan Trio in order to fix it. However, in order to wield hostas, you do need the quest. So looking at the dungeon here, you have access to a bunch of different monsters. On the bottom floor, you have access to worms, and you also have access to hydras. The alchemical hydra, which is to the northeast corner of the map, is the Hydra boss, which has been popularly broadcasted. So you can find a ton of guides out there to show you how to kill it and all that. I currently do not have a guide, so I won't be showcasing it here. Now, if you go up the stairs, which is to the east of me, you can see it brings you over to these stairs here. This has sulfur lasers on the floor, greater demons, and then drakes. There's also more stairs to south, which brings you up another layer of stairs, which has access to fire giants and hellhounds. Just a small thing I want to mention here before I leave the mountain is there's this mining spot over to the west. As you can see, there is some iron and coal, and it's not the worst run to the bank. It's probably considered one of the better spots to run for coal and iron, aside from the Lovakin area, for mining it on a Zeah only Iron Man. The last thing I want to mention is here in the Current Center is the new person for the diaries, Elise. You can talk to her and claim your reward once you've completed the diary levels. As you can see, here are the tasks. I've already completed the easy task, but here are the tasks that you can expect to complete for the current diaries. I cannot, as a Zeah only Iron Man, complete the medium or higher due to the fairy ring requirement, which kinda sucks. But there are plenty of other guides that are out there in which you can go look up how to efficiently do this. I think the day before, someone decided to create a full, intensive guide of how to do everything the fastest. So they're out there. I'm not going to really cover it. I just want to briefly tell you where this was since it was relevant to the Kebos Lowlands update. So I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the Kebos Lowlands update and everything that has to provide. I know I didn't cover every single little aspect and every single little detail. However, I tried to cover all of the major and important stuff that got brought to you by the Kebos Lowlands. I know I'm also a little bit late on it, and I'm sorry for not being day 1, day 2 out there on the guide, but I want to make sure that I got all of the important stuff covered. So, I hope you enjoyed that guide, and it brings you a bit of information about what the Kebos Lowlands had to offer if you didn't know it already.